There are stretches of structure, pieces of structure that you just don't want to ever pass by. When you see them, you want to stop and fish them. Like, for instance, riprap, and particularly points in a riprap. When you see that, stop and fish it, no matter what time of the day it is. The corner of a boat dock, or you come by a boat dock, you want to fish the corners or a ladder. A log that's laying down. You just want, even if it's an individual log and not much around, you want to stop and fish it. Those are the kind of places. Can you think of another one or two? Wow! That's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls. Good morning. We're looking at September 8th. We're looking at Habakkuk 2:4. Habakkuk 2:4. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the Catch of the Day channel, subscribe to that channel right now. Hit that button. If you are subscribed, share this with several friends. You know, I've got a lot of people that share with a lot of people, and this channel can literally change your life. By the way, we have put a link to our Jimmy Houston Outdoor merchandise on this channel, as well as our Jimmy Houston Outdoors channel. So if you're looking for t-shirts, sunglasses, rods, Jimmy Houston rods, all kinds of different stuff. Books, Catch of the Day books. Our new book will be out, in just a few months now, probably around March or April, something like that. Anyway, we got a link to the Jimmy Houston merchandise on all of our videos right now. Okay, Habakkuk 2:4 says, "Those who are right with God will live by faith." So if you're right with God, that's how you're going to conduct your life. You're going to live by faith. Now, getting right with God in the Old Baptist Church, when somebody got saved, that's what we would say, is they got right with God. They become a Christian. They become a believer. They become a believer in Jesus Christ. And in the Bible, many times God would tell some of his people, you need to get right with God. You need to get right with God. Some of the prophets, I remember the prophet, one of my favorite deals in the Bible, or books of the Bible, talks about Hezekiah. When Hezekiah got sick, and the prophet went in and told him that you need to get right with God, set your affairs in order, because this illness is going to kill you. And we know it didn't. He went ahead and lived another 15 years. God gave him another 15 years, which is exactly what I'm going to ask God to do when the prophet tells me that my time has come to go. But getting saved, that's what we're talking about. Becoming a believer, getting right with God. When you get right with God, you'll live by faith. You won't live by fear. Fear is the opposite of faith. You'll live by faith. Here's what I wrote about that. There are many ways to fish a roadrunner, an old stump jumper by Bass Pro, a crappie jig. All can catch fish. There's really a lot of combinations of these baits, I suppose hundreds. When you consider the size, the color, the type of tail that you can put on them, you just have hundreds of different combinations. Any of those combinations can be right, depending on the situation. Each can also be equally as wrong. It can be equally as wrong. There really is no wrong situation for depending on God to get things right. That's a sentence I want you to remember right there. There really is no wrong situation for depending on God to get things right. No illness. We're going through that right now. No illness. No money problems. Been there, done that. Probably most of us could, say that. No hurt relationship. Get this, not even death can stop us from depending on God to get things right. We are simply to live by trusting him. My buddy Jerry Cox says that God's constantly asking us, do you trust me? Do you trust me? Do you really trust me? Show me that you really trust me. Is that easier said than done? To really trust God? Absolutely, you bet it is. But it's the only way, it is the only way any of us can experience God's power, is by going through some times so very tough that we can't handle them alone. God, I can't do it. The situation is too tough. You've got to handle it for me. I'm in one of those situations right now. I've been in them several times throughout my lifetime. God always comes through. I've never seen him fail me yet. And I know he's not going to fail me in this situation here either. Those who are right with God live by faith. We, as believers, have had a great choice to make during this China virus, the Asian variant or Delta variant or whatever airline variant they're calling that thing that it's in here now. We've had a choice every day. We can live by faith or we can live by fear. Many Christians have chosen to live by fear. I'm not going to say what God might think about that. I'm not going to speak for God at all. But I'm telling you, God asks us to live by faith. To live by faith. Okay, here's the answer to, probably y'all come up with quite a few things that you don't want to pass by when you're out there and you see them. Never overlook a shady bank. And here's the critical thing. No matter how small the shaded area is, no matter how small the shaded area is, no matter the time of the day. You know, a bass, if he can get his eyes behind something, he thinks he's hid. You know, we know that if we want to hide behind a tree, we need to just kind of get up here and get right behind that tree so nobody on the other side of the tree can hear us. A bass can swim up there. If he can just get his eyes behind that tree, he thinks he's hid. He thinks he's hid. So just a little bitty tiny piece of shade, if that bass gets his eyes in there, he thinks he's hid. And also, it doesn't take much. It's a little sliver of shade for a bass to get in, and they'll get in those tiny bits of shade. So throw at every piece of shade that you see, particularly after you get past the springtime of the year. Early in the year, the bass won't get in the shade because that water's a little cooler and they want to lay out in the sunshine where they're getting absorbing a little warmth. But once you get past that springtime for the rest of the year, look for that shade, fish that shade. Early in the morning, running the shade is as good a technique as you can get in most clear water lakes. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. And remember, I sure do love you.